No, I'm not dead. Yes, I still want to do these videos, and yes, now I have the time to do it because my life is freed up. There's a lot of things I want to talk about SCP. It's changed a lot since my last video, so yeah, I'm gonna start doing these videos again. Anyways, it's been a while since I've said this. Hey, how's it going? Hugs here. Today I want to talk about the new spawn ticket system in SL and how it's made the game worse, in my opinion. So, for those of you who don't know, the old spawn ticket system, pre-Mimicry, was whoever NTF was practically guaranteed to spawn first. There are very few exceptions. Like when all the scientists die early and like all the D class actually do stuff. It was definitely in the favor of the NTF guaranteed spawning first. Which is good in my opinion because it lasts the game out longer. How that worked is people would use SCP items. It was easier for scientists to do stuff that D-Class wouldn't normally do. Facility guards would kill D-Class, getting more tickets for them. I don't know the full extent to the system and like what it considers, but I do know it's based on individual performances. And depending on what you do, like using an SP item, killing D-Class, killing SCPs, you get tickets into that category. Now, typically, in a pre-Mimicry game, how it worked was not enough tickets for Chaos to spawn would be gathered in enough time that NTF would normally spawn after the 6 minutes of the game starting. 6-7 minutes of the game starting. Somewhere around there. And so NTF would usually always spawn. Again, there's a few exceptions. Not saying this is happening 100% of the time. I've noticed a couple of games Chaos spawns first, but you get the idea. So how you would play pre-Mimicry would be you set up for the next spawn wave. So typically, as I said in one of my other videos, you don't really escape as a D-Class or scientist. There's not really ever a need to, because you escaping doesn't really matter. It doesn't give you enough tickets by itself, and you as an individual player don't know what have other people on your team done, so it doesn't really matter for you to escape. It just wastes time when you otherwise could have gotten more tickets back then. And I actually like that system because it discouraged speedrunning. I think speedrunning this game, or speedrunning escaping this game, is the worst thing anyone could ever do. It's the most boring thing anyone could ever do, especially if you're good at it. How it was back then was you had to purposefully stay in the game to get more spawn tickets for your team and to set up for the next wave. So how it would work is like if you were a scientist, for example, you wouldn't get a facility manager card. I think it's what it's called. It's the red card. You want to get a facility manager and leave and then come back into the facility and start doing your normal stuff. What you would do is you would get an 05 card. You would start getting armor, weapons, micro, SCP items. You would start trying to kill all the other D-Class. Try to start killing all the other SCPs. You're setting up for the next spawn wave. So that spawn wave has an even easier time getting tickets, so the next spawn wave can get more tickets. That's how it would work. You would slowly chip away the SCPs, and you would rely on the next wave to also do the same thing. And while you were doing that, you would get tickets for the next wave. Now, obviously, there'd be a few monkey wrenches. Sometimes by the third or fourth wave, Chaos would spawn, and that ruins your whole thing. But by then, you should have a grasp on the game. Your remaining team, you should have a grasp on the remaining game at that point, where it shouldn't really matter at that point. And then it will just become a team deathmatch of who's the better player or who's the better team at that point, you know? That's how you would normally play a pre-Mimicry game. How you would play Mimicry now is how fast can you escape? Is what I've noticed. What I've noticed, and this is just from personal observation, I could be wrong, don't take my words as facts. How I've noticed, the fastest person to escape that wave typically spawns. A couple games ago, or not a couple games ago, like a couple weeks ago, for instance, I noticed that one NTF specialist escaped first. He escaped in like 3 minutes or something like that. Pretty fast. Not the fastest, but it was pretty decent. Pretty decent. And 3D class escaped into conscripts afterwards. But the NTF still spawned, which that doesn't really make any sense. And I've noticed this multiple times, that usually the fastest person to escape usually gets the most tickets to spawn in their next team. I mean, that kind of just makes sense. If you escape first, you get the most tickets that are in the pool to escape. Because it's still a ticket-based system, I believe. They just tweaked the numbers. So when they say they reworked it, I haven't really seen anything that actually changed it. Just different numbers, different values, whatever. So I noticed that. And I think that's terrible for the game because it encourages you playing individually rather than staying in the game and risking yourself, but having an easier game later on. This would also have a problem because there are more D-class and scientists. Typically, NTF don't spawn as much anymore because if a D-class gets out, the D-class or the Chaos Insurgency spawn. So if the Chaos Insurgency spawn, that means the game ends faster, which is not healthy for the game in my opinion. Typically, a good spot for the game is 30 players, and they moved it down to 25. I don't know why they did that. That's another issue I have. Why move it down to 25 players? But my ideal vision of this game is 30 players and 15 to 20 minute game. That's my ideal vision of the game, because in that scenario, everyone gets to play at that point. There's no, you die at the start of the game. Well, I gotta wait 6 minutes for this game to end and then do that over again. It's the most boring part about SL is when people speedrun solely to get the game ending faster, even unintentionally speedrunning, or not unintentionally speedrunning. People who speedrun are knowingly speedrunning the game as fast as they could, but unintentionally spawning in the chaos so the chaos can end the game faster. That's another issue I have right now, is that the game just ends too quickly, and nobody likes a 6 minute game. Everyone hates it. People are like, wow, that was a fast game. SCPs did great that round. We didn't really get to play because we only died once, but yeah, that was a fast game. Nobody wants that from the people I've asked. Nobody cares. We only, I don't want to say we only. In my opinion, people who get to play multiple lives or of the majority of the match, that's what makes this game fun. And not most of the match short round. No. I'm talking about the same 15-20 minute, you're playing most of it, you get a couple lives or whatever, like that. That's what makes the game fun. That's why people keep playing it. People also play for the comedy aspect of it, which is what's primarily kept this game alive. It's just people being funny. But that's just my thoughts on the new ticket system. I think it's really, I personally don't like it. I think it encourages the worst part about this game, which is just selfish goals. Selfish speedrunning in SL, in my opinion, is the worst thing you can have in a video game, or in this video game. But yeah, that's it. That's what I'm coming back to. I have other videos planned. But yeah, thanks for watching.